This is going to be game 3 upcoming, I believe, right?
Castro. From Vanderbilt at forward, wearing number 40, Jalen Washington. From the Hokies of Virginia Tech at forward, wearing number 32, Toby Lawal. From the University of Minnesota at forward, wearing number 23, Cade Tyson. From Grand Canyon at guard, wearing number 22, Jaden Henley. From the University of Nevada at guard, wearing number 20, Corey Camper Jr. From the University of South Carolina at guard, number 12, Michi Johnson. And from Iowa State at guard, wearing number 10, Taven Lipsy. Your coaches for Sales Systems are PJ Honore, Kenneth Harris, and from the NBA, Khalid Elamine. Now your players for Rounds Landscape Service. From Villanova at center, 6'10", number 40, Duke Brennan. From the University of Miami at forward, number 32, Malik Renew. At forward, 6'7" from Yale, number 30, Nick Townsend. From the University of California, 6'8" forward, number 31, John Camden. From the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech at forward, number 23, Owacy Reeves Jr. From Texas Tech, 6'5" guard, number 20, Donovan Atwell. From the Seminoles of Florida State University, 6'4" guard, number 12, Robert McRae V. And straight out of the Final Four from the University of Illinois, 6'2" guard, wearing number 21, Kylan Boswell. Your coaches for Rounds Landscape Service are Jim Markey, Chris Furman, and from the NBA and a Hampton Roads native, Mr. J.R. Reed. Your officials for today's game are Agon Abazi, Blanca Burns, and Leah Laney.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And we welcome you to day 2 coverage of the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. You're watching the coverage exclusively on the spot, Norfolk 27, and through Prep Spin with Ed Young. I'm Matthew Hatfield. It's our consolation game here on this Thursday afternoon, game 3 of the 12-game marathon that is the PIT, featuring Rounds Landscape Service in the green uniforms taking on Sales Systems in the white jerseys. Both teams falling yesterday. Sales Systems to Portsmouth Sports Club at a tight one, 78-75, while Jenna King outlasted Rounds Landscape in a much higher scoring affair, 97-92. Coach Young, good to be back with you here for the PIT. Should be a fun day of hoops as we've got wall-to-wall coverage for you all the way through Saturday's championship.
As always, Matt, anything is basketball. It's me. I want to be there. This is exciting. I'm like that proverbial kid in the candy store with a credit card. Get whatever you want.
Kids in candy stores or credit cards could be bad news. But we watched to begin the game here. A right-handed hook shot, no good for Jalen Washington. We'll tell you about the starting lineups for this game. That was the 6'10 forward from Vanderbilt out of Gary, Indiana, missing the first shot to go with that Sales Systems team coached by Kenneth Harris, PJ Honore, and the former UConn star Khalid Elamine. You have Washington in the lineup along with the likes for them of the following individuals. You have Toby Lawal, of course, who was a big contributor from Virginia Tech, the 6'8", 215-pound forward from London, England, who had a really nice showing yesterday with the dunks. It's just a three-point shot dialed up and off the mark. Henley, the 6'7 guard from Grand Canyon, who led the way in yesterday's loss with 18 points and 6 steals. He out of Ontario, California. The last starter in the lineup is that jump shot with the feathery touch is good to get Sales Systems on the board by Washington. The last and fifth final starter for them in this opening quarters. We see another nice attack move. There's Colin Boswell at the layup with the right hand to round out the lineup. You have with Johnson, Henley, Lawal, and Washington. Number 20, Corey Camper Jr., the 6'5 guard from Nevada out of Arkansas, Little Rock. As that jumper is off the mark, rebounded inside by Nick Townsend out of Yale, the 6'7 forward for Rounds Landscape. What are you looking for in the early going for this game here, be it for either team or any individuals here? It's a consolation game, Coach Young. It's a little different than those first games, but they still have meaning, don't they?
Well, the big thing, Matt, I think in the game, this particular game, these kids played last night, neither team won. It's a quick turnaround. They're not playing 24 hours later. They're playing less than 24 hours later. So I think a lot of your pro scouts here, your NBAs, your school teams from overseas, how do these kids perform under that kind of duress? You didn't win. You don't have one of your bigger crowds, and you got to play quick. And you know in the back of your mind, shoot, we lost, and this is it for both these teams, win or lose. So a lot of the mental, as well as, of course, physically, how do you fit in? A lot of these guys are trying to show what they can do, and sometimes what will come through even louder is what they can't do.
The Ivy League player there, Nick Townsend, splits a pair of free throws, so it's a 3-2 advantage for Rounds Landscaping Green. That starting lineup, by the way, the team coach Jim Markey, Chris Furman, and former UNC standout NBA player and Kempsville High alum J.R. Reed. Rounds Landscape featuring the likes of Malik Renew, John Camden, Nick Townsend, Donovan Atwell, and Colin Boswell. Atwell, the 6'5 guard from Texas Tech, who was second in the country in threes made this past year. Boswell, of course, helping Illinois make the Final Four. Camden, a 6'8 forward from California. Townsend out of Yale, as you mentioned, and Renault, the 6'9 forward, who was a top 30 recruit nationally coming out of high school, played at Indiana, then started for the Miami Hurricanes, who made the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament this year. Left-handed dribble trying to get in the lane, spin move here for Henley, kicks it out, three-point shot's going to be off the mark. Offensive rebound collected by Washington inside, throws it in the lane, it's deflected, steal there and picked up. There's Renault up ahead in transition. Atwell pull up for three, and he knocks it down. Donovan Atwell from the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. You know, he made 341 threes in his college career, Ed. And the thing that was interesting last night in his game, he missed his first three, hit 4 in a row in the second quarter, then missed his last 6. That's how shooters are sometimes. They can go up and down like a roller coaster.
Yeah, and again, it's a different feel here. But again, if you're a shooter, you're a shooter, no matter what gym you're in, whether you're inside, outside. And that kid can light it up. When he's on a roll, he don't miss.
As we see from the sideline, ready to inbound the basketball for Rounds Landscape, Robert McCray, the 5th, who's checked into the ball game out of Florida State. We raved about his athleticism last night. Shammond Williams and Tanner Massey and James Blackburn on our broadcast. There's a nice right-handed attack move and a finish off the glass. As we see, once again, a hoop for Sales Systems to extend this here to make it a 2-point game. Henley's been very effective, as well as Camper. Those two guards, we saw stretches in the second half last night where they were very instrumental. Down low in the post, Renault with the left hand hook shot. It's no good. Offensive rebound, or that defensive rebound is going to be collected by Henley. On the move now for Sales Systems as we near the 6-minute mark of our opening period. In the lane against Camden, a couple of hesitation moves to fade away, and it's going to get the roll there to even the score at 6 apiece.
Well, that's one of the problems they had last night, hitting those outside jump shots. Many of them open, they just didn't hit them, and that's going to be the key today to knock some down. I think Sales System a little bit more athletic than Rounds Landscaping.
John Camden knocking down a three. You know, it's interesting. He went from a non-factor shooting threat to making 183 threes over his final 2 years in college at Cal. He hit just 13 his first three. I know you as a longtime coach at the college and high school level, that's about a player's individual development and working on his craft to get better at something, a certain skill.
Yeah, if you're going to play, especially that, you know, the college level and of course pro level, what is that one thing you bring to the court every day that's pretty reliable? Whether it's defensive stopper, you can hit jump shots, you're a playmaker, or whatever, you're going to have to come with something.
Here's Michi Johnson, 8 points, 5 assists, and 1 turnover last night as he gets the first of a couple of free throws. What an interesting career he had. He started off South Carolina, and then he went to Ohio State and came back to South Carolina. You don't generally see a player in college basketball go back to the school that he transferred from, but that's what Michi did for the Gamecocks.
He found out that proverbial the grass is not always greener on the other side, and he probably didn't like that Midwest cold winter, so he came back. And he's got one of the best names in the tournament, Michi. I love that.
I like that name. And now I think the big question for a lot of the scouts and the GMs here is how efficient of a scorer and shooter is he really, because only once in his career did he shoot over 40%, but that was his final season, so it could be a sign of things to come for him. Cross-court pass, three-pointer's not going to go down for Rounds Landscape as Colossi Reeves missed that one. Comes back out, another trigger three-point shot that's going to be off the mark there. And there's the attack down low, and they're going to have it thrown away and go back to the direction to Sales Systems as we see trying to get the ball down low in the paint, but Nick Townsend and company come up empty on that trip. A 1-point lead for Rounds Landscaping in the green. As we see embedding from the side is Toby Lawal. He's got that vertical leap, the ooh-ah ability above the rim, the dunks he had last night that were mighty, mighty impressive. We watched Taman Lipsey with the basketball, helped Iowa State make the Sweet 16, but his pass is going to get deflected and stolen away as it's Nick Townsend from Yale showing his savvy to get to the basketball.
You get a kid from Ivy League. This is a great opportunity for a league that doesn't get a notoriety on the court. They get a whole lot of notoriety off the court. A lot of them kids have 6.7 GPAs.
Remember last year we saw John Poulakaitis from Yale in this event, so they've had multiple players from the Ivy League and Yale, in fact. There's inside, the ball's bobbled, and it's going to be stolen away by Sales Systems with Cade Tyson, the 6'7 forward from Minnesota, who also played for the Heels, the Tar Heels of North Carolina. That one's going to get knocked away, and in the green, McCray throws it up ahead, moving the basketball. Here's a three-point shot, dialed up for Reeves. No good, but there's the tap-in for Duke Brennan, the 6'10 center from Villanova, who had 26 double-doubles in his career, and he's working the glass to make it a three-point lead.
The save was the great part of that, and then the passing, and then the follow-up. You had 4 of the 5 guys touching the ball that time. That's what we want to see.
Jumper from the foul line is good as Corey Camper Jr., the all-Mountain West performer who started 37 games out of 37 for Nevada. We mentioned it last night, had a triple-double in a game against Liberty back on March 21st in the corner. Atwell trying to dig it out for Rounds Landscape.
Man-to-man defense, obviously, by both squads.
Step back three from the side's going to rim out for Atwell. Rebounded underneath as we see the pogo stick athletic ability once again for Lawal. Up top, here's Taman Lipsey. Second most wins in Iowa State history, and he has the teardrop, the floater game that's good, as it is a 1-point game now as we near 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Taman Lipsey, one of those point guards that was among the best in America, and that 3.33 assist turnover ratio, 7th in school history all time. As we see the attack with the right hand, count it, plus the foul as Kawasi Reeves with a difficult move and the finish that's there.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the underhand flip made famous by George the Iceman Gervin years ago.
Get some ice cold drinks with that here. It's good. We're going to step aside. More coming from the PIT at Churchland High School. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The basket was good for Georgia Tech's Kawasi Reeves Jr.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Sponsored by The Auto Connection.
Welcome back to the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around the country showcasing their skills in front of hundreds of professional scouts, general managers, and agents. With the coach Ed Young, Matthew Hatfield here from Churchland High in Portsmouth as we watch Koasi Reeves try to complete the and one three-point play, and he does just that to make it a 2-point margin. Rounds Landscape Services up by a deuce, 14-12 on Sales Systems as Tame Lipsy tries to get his team back in position here to tie or take the lead. There's a nice little turnaround right-handed shot. Won't fall for Tyson inside, rebounded by Duke Brennan in the early going here. Leading scorer is Corey Camper with 4 points, but a lot of players touching the basketball here trying to get a feel in the early going, and it's going to be another whistle going against the guys in white from Sales Systems, and a couple of free throws forthcoming for Rounds Landscape. Our officials for today's game: Agana Bazi, Bianca Burns, and Leah Lanny.
Again, you're going to look at these guys in terms of really moving the basketball around. They know what they're being watched for, and again, moving the basketball around is just as important as firing up shots.
So 2 free throws now for Robert McCray, the 5th. Started out his career at Wake Forest before going to Jacksonville, and the first one's not going to go down for him. As we mentioned, coaches love his pro-level athleticism. Natural lefty who was third-team All-ACC, explosive player who closed out the ACC tournament in style. I know Florida State didn't have a big year, but 55 points, 12 assists, and those 2 games against Cal and Duke opened a lot of people's eyes with his potential, or his upside, if you will.
Yeah, Tom, you can get that many assists. I was looking at his background. He had 17 in a game. He don't mind passing the ball to people.
That's right. That was against Alcorn State, and it broke the record of Otto Petty from 1972 when he had 16 of those.
I remember Otto Petty. That's going way back, but I remember that squad.
It's going to be another 3 in the key. Turnover, so it goes back to Rounds Landscape, up by a trio here as we see Jim Markey along the sidelines, former Norfolk Collegiate basketball coach in the Hampton Roads area. J.R. Reed sitting on the bench, as we mentioned, All-American at Kempsville, and Chris Furman, who coached previously at Western Branch and Nance Suffolk Academy before taking it over at Portsmouth Christian, his alma mater. Actually going to be Sales Systems shooting the free throws, beg your pardon, as that first one is delivered by Cade Tyson. And remain with Sales Systems on the other side of the court. Former Churchland High coach P.J. Honore, heck of a player back in his day. 2-time state champion coach Kenneth Harris of Green Run High School, and Khalid Alameen, who was one of the best guards to come out of the University of Connecticut. And what a basketball factory it has become in the last few decades. Jim Calhoun, of course, Kevin Ollie, and now Danny Hurley, all winning national championships with the Huskies on the men's side. Inside, it's going to be a kick out. Here's a 3-point shot for Corey Camper Jr., and it's going to hit the bottom of the net as Camper has come out swinging here offensively in this one.
Like I said, last night the trouble was hitting those outside jumpers. Now, looks like they're doing a little bit better on that today. You mentioned about the coaches. Each staff does have a quote, NBA guy, which came in about 10 years ago, where they started having an NBA representative or WNBA representative on each staff.
Step through move in the finish for Kylan Boswell, who started out his first 2 years in Arizona and then the last 2 at Illinois, as we see an attack move and a couple of free throws come as McCray hits Jaden Henley on that move. We were talking last night, Tanner Massey and I, during the broadcast, and it felt like Boswell's one of the players that's going to really grab the attention of these scouts. Over his final 8 games last year at Illinois, he really came on, and then this past year with that team that featured the European flavor, Keaton Wadler, who's a projected first-rounder, he kind of just fit in and ran his role, and even though they lost last night, really effective. 21 points, 8 assists, 1 turnover. If you can do those things to make your teammates better, that's as much of a skill as shooting or rebounding or blocking shots, isn't it?
No question. On the playmaking side, getting the ball to the right people, maybe you're a bigger dude, can be setting some screens, and then obviously be able to play D. You don't need to average 22 points to impress people to get into the league or whatever pro league. They're more than likely going to have guys already can do that. Can you do some of the other stuff? And that's what this league is this tournament's for. Henley
knocking down the free throws to restore the lead for Sales Systems, 18-17, as we took under 2 minutes to go in this opening period. Renault over to Boswell. His back turn, it's Duke Brennan trying to back down the defender. Turns to the right hand, hook shot won't go down. Rebound for Tyson. Tyson pushes up ahead, now Camper's got it. Kicks over to the right, into attack behind the back dribble. Ball was almost loose for Jaden Henley. Shot fake for Camper, thought about it, instead makes the extra pass, and the 3 from the top of the key is going to be short and rebounded inside by Brennan. help that Villanova team make the NCAA tournament. And there's a kaboom flush for Koasi Reeves, the guy that was the first recruit for Damon Stoudemire at Georgia Tech and ended up leading the Yellow Jackets in scoring at 15.1 points per game this past year. Rounds landscape up by a whisker.
And he had that proverbial extra NBA step on that dunk. But we're going to let that go.
That's going to be a whistle against Sales Systems as it goes back the other way. We watched the replay getting here up ahead in transition, and Reeves throwing it down. One of those players that's been battle-tested, Coach. He started out at Florida, runs the floor, and we see he can get to the rim and finish there too.
Yeah, quick leaps. That's something you're going to see. It's really strong in the NBA. Guys can really take off at the last second.
Interestingly enough, he made more threes in 5 years of college basketball, 2 of them at Florida and 3 at Georgia, than free throws. You don't always see that from players, to have more threes than free throws made, especially players that scored a 15-plus point per game clip, as that one goes out of play back to Sales Systems.
You're not going to get fouled much when you're shooting threes. When you're driving, you're going to get hit, and then you got to see what you can do. So I can see why that happens, but you're right. It's a rarity.
Right-hand side of the floor, it's going to be Michi Johnson swinging to the left. Castro over to Taman Lipsy. Deep three in those yellow shoes. It doesn't go down for Michi Johnson, but it's going to be last touched by Rounds Landscape in the green. So they'll get another crack at it here before the first quarter is going to expire here, and 14 back on the shot clock.
Some of the referees in the stands didn't think that was a good call, and they are going to reverse it.
Oh, they do change it. You're right. We see that it looked like it did get touched. We watch it simultaneously. Oh, goes off the leg last of 30 and white. Great job by our camera team here. The folks from Prep Spin, as you see Castro, I think, off his leg, right? His right leg, that's what it looked like. Here's Boswell, little head fake move, tries to lean in off the backboard, doesn't go down. Rebound by Castro, and it's going to be stolen away by McCray over to Brennan. Step through and has it blocked from the side there by Castro, the George Washington standout. And there's the leap and the tap through for 2 as Jaden Henley puts it in. 20-19, Sales Systems back up.
Castro, 6'11" from George Washington, can get it up.
Boswell to beat the horn. His 3 is off the mark, and that will take us to the second quarter of action from the PIT. Consolation matchup where Sales Systems leads it by 1. More coming. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by The Auto Connection.
1 quarter in the books, and our early matchup on this Thursday in April at the 72nd Annual PIT Sales Systems in the white uniforms on top of Rounds Landscape Service 20-19 with Ed Young. I'm Matthew Hatfield. Coach Young, your thoughts on that first quarter of play? It was a little back and forth and not the best of shooting from the outside in this one.
Yeah, both teams made 7 field goals. Sales System was 7 for 16, 44%. Rounds Landscaping was 7 of 18 for 39%. Corey Camper Jr., leading scorer, with 7 points in the game for Sales System, and off the bench 4 rounds. Landscaping was Kwosi Reeves, the guy with that dunk. He had 5 points off the bench, leading scorer.
As we see another whistle here with the attack move, and there'll be a couple of free throws now coming for Sales Systems, as we will see Donovan Atwell commit that foul on Rounds Landscapes. Jaden Henley, who goes to the line here, his outside shooting and turnovers a little bit on the erratic side at Grand Canyon, but a first-team All-Mountain West performer who, as a wing player, really has a lot of ability. Went from 37.6% to 43.6% to 46.6%, and his scoring got better each year. Also, his rebounds, his assists, his steals. So he's a player that's kind of running into form at the right time as he's able to convert at the charity stripe there. And one of those players, not in a Power 5 league, so sometimes they can be a hidden gem in an event like this.
Well, and again, for the youngster to stay there at a school that's not a Power 4, you don't see that a lot now. A lot of guys who play really well at a slightly smaller level always looking to try to go up to the Power 4 type school, but he elected to stay.
In the corner, the bounce pass is going to be an errant one, stolen away. McCray gets it, but it goes right back to Sales Systems with Lipsy. Inside to Castro, who's going to deliver the dunk as the Dover, New Jersey native has liftoff and a 5-point lead for Sales Systems.
Yeah, obviously a little sloppy with the ball, not really paying attention to where you're passing through. Sales System comes up with a steal and a conversion.
Didn't attempt a single three this past year to Castro. What he did do was yank down 82 offensive rebounds. Spent a couple seasons at Providence and the last 2 at GW, and here he is coming right into your living room.
Tell you what, long arms, long legs, very athletic. It's pretty safe to say, in my estimation, Matt, that young fellow will be playing for more money next year. Of course, we know in college the kids are getting paid, but legally, he's going to be being paid professionally next year. He's active, big.
There's a spin move and a finish for Henley inside. And of course, last year's event yielded some NBA players we saw in this event last year from Nevada, where Corey Camper, by the way, on your screen, played his college basketball. Kobe Sanders, who played for the LA Clippers, who had a heartbreaking loss last night in the NBA play-in to the Golden State Warriors. You also have Jemai Meshack from Tennessee, who's made the pros. Julian Reese from Maryland. Of course, people know him also as being the brother of WNBA standout Angel Reese. He's played with the Wizards and gotten a lot of production at the end of the season for a struggling franchise. But there's been some players the last couple of years that have made NBA rosters sooner than some expected. There's a corner three-point shot that's going to rim out for Reese, but the follow is good as Rounds Landscape gets closer thanks to that offensive rebound and finish by Malik Renew.
A lot of these guys, Matt, the biggest issue they may have is, do they stay and play in the G League, or are they going to get a contract overseas and they're locked in for a few years overseas?
Well, this is a particular year where a lot of the freshmen are saturating the top of the draft board for this particular year, but there was more of the high-quality seniors that were given a look to this event, whether they came or not this year, and I think that's made the field a little more interesting for some folks that were looking at, all right, well, we have some of the names. There might be a couple of players that slip into, the late first or perhaps a second round of this year's NBA draft. Time will tell as Taylor Lipsy passes it to the wing, driving in with the left hand and getting clear room to the basket. Nobody cut off Jaden Henley, and if you don't cut him off, he'll dunk it down with authority, and we got a timeout on the floor. So we'll take one, too, with 7:43 to go in the first half. Sales Systems up by a touchdown, 28-21, as you see the replay of that ferocious dunk. You're watching the PIT on the spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by The Auto Connection.
Consolation game here between Sales Systems and Rounds Landscape Services. Rounds Landscape in the green jerseys trailing it by 7 with Ed Young, Matthew Hatfield here for the first of our 3 games today. 2 more coming tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern, featuring Norfolk Sports Club against Portsmouth Partnership and Portsmouth Economic Development versus Mike Duman Incorporated. We'll tell you about some of those rosters and players as we move things along here on our broadcast, and that one's going to go out of bounds. Back the other direction here, 7-point lead for Sales Systems, which is getting a lot of production here from Camper and Henley. Those 2 guys doing the bulk of the scoring with 19 of the 28.
Yeah, we got Rounds Landscape get a little careless with the basketball, which led to turnovers for Sales System, and they turned them into points.
3-point shots knocked down. Virginia Tech's Toby Lawal, who had a couple years in Richmond at VCU and then his last 2 in Blacksburg. So fans around the Commonwealth have come to know him quite well. And that's a 3-point shot that's dialed up for Donovan Atwell. What a stroke he's got. When he rattles off 1 or 2, it can turn into 3, 4, 5, or 6 straight 7-point game. And there's an attack move against the arms of Townsend, who's able to challenge that shot and get a stop for Rounds Landscape, trying to pull this back to a 2-possession game.
Of course, if you're a wing player at the next level, you got to show that you can hit those outside shots, because that's pretty much what you're going to be asked to do at whatever level you play.
Pass out to Atwell, 3 again, and he'll knock it down. Just as we were saying, if he gets going and sees it go through the net, he's dangerous, as Texas Tech had, their season unfortunate with the injury to J.T. Toppin, younger brother of Obi Toppin from the NBA's Indiana Pacers, affected their length in the NCAA tournament as Toby Lawal throws it down again aggressively. But that's a program that's been certainly in the limelight from the days of Chris Beer when they lost to UVA in the national championship, and now currently under Grant McCaslin.
So Toby Lawal is still looking good from last night to today. Got great hops, strong upper body, really looking good.
I think the big question for Toby is going to be, does he have the outside shooting touch and a little bit on the turnover prone? But my goodness, is he bouncy? He rebounds it, hits the offensive glass, and here he is again with the aggressive play and the finish. Toby Lawal starting to get off again, and it's a 6-point lead for Sales Systems. Look out.
Again, did they fit a role, Matt? That's what everybody's looking for. Nobody here is, safe to say, a lottery pick at top 11 in the NBA, which is fine. But they're going to fill out rosters. They're going to be able to bring something to the table that, when they're called upon, they can do.
And he's one of those players where the energy can be contagious, too. Here's the right hand turn back, fall away for Washington. He gets it to go. The long lead forward, who started out with UNC, then went to Vanderbilt, helped the Commodores make the run to 32, pushes the lead back up to 8. Boswell now passes it to the right. Townsend doesn't hand it off to Camden. Instead, he's going to back down against the defender. Turn back baseline. His layup is good off the glass for 2. Cuts it to 6. Nick Townsend can see the smarts in his game, and Coach James Jones just really raved about his work ethic there in the Ivy League. 3-point shot now for Lawal. Can he silence the critics there? Doesn't get that one to fall. Rebound comes out to Townsend on the move now for Rounds Landscape. Doesn't get to finish at first. Also, the second follow doesn't go, and Lawal comes with the rebound. So some empty trips at both ends. Lipsy gets rid of it. Michi Johnson now looking to see if he can get by Atwell. Gets to the mid-post area now, Lipsy. Shot fake, steps to the side. Henley gets it back, and he's going to score it underneath for 2, as Henley's got that scoring mentality right now.
They ran their own little nice 2-man game, pass, little hesitation move, and then cut right to the bucket. Just like you drew it up back in the days of junior high. I like that.
Yeah, you get the, you're in the sand drawing it up with the X's and the O's. Absolutely. There it is, as a foul on the floor before the shot. Wave that off.
Yeah, it's the oldest play in basketball, the give and go. And then, of course, pick and roll, probably number 2. Very easy to execute.
We got a timeout on the floor, I believe. Looks like we do have one. Oh, we're going to stay on the floor. The referees say otherwise. They were going to the benches, but they're going to keep it here.
I think it was mass substitutions coming in. Here's what we're looking at.
They were heading towards the side. Yeah. They said we're going to keep it here. No, we're going to play.
Every team has 8 players. Coaches try to play the guys as equal as possible. We play 4 10-minute quarters. And, of course, we have the shot clock. I think it's 30-second shot clock. Or is it 24?
No, it's 24.
Okay, it's NBA. Okay.
24 NBA shot clock. Resets at 14.
good.
39-31. But some are confused with the foul out was because last night we did have a player foul out with 6 fouls, and that was Malik Renew, who had 10 points and 7 boards, as did his frontline teammate Duke Brennan, as we see getting helped up off the floor there. Number 12, Michi Johnson, by the aforementioned Toby Lawal.
People tuning in for the first time, wherever you're from, this is Churchland High School here in Portsmouth, Virginia, which is in the 757, probably the biggest gym in terms of seating people.
As we mentioned on one of our broadcasts last night, also this court can be found in the NBA 2K video game. I know a lot of the kids love that. They can, those custom games they have, you can pick a court and pick a venue, and this court is actually one of those courts you can use in the
Yeah, this is a
video.
nice court. It's different.
They had it redone a few years back when Michael Whittington was the athletic director. Here's a face-up from the baseline. Jumper is good for Kawasi Reeves yet again, as he's just been really fluid shooting the basketball. He was 60 of 155 from deep this year and almost 46% from the field in general.
A lot of these guys, we're in an era where the three-pointer is really highly emphasized at all levels. And it's kind of neat to see guys going to the rim on the give and goes or the pick and rolls and try to do a one-on-one drive. Can you blow by that guy? Like right there.
Ooh, right-handed flush with the dunk there. Kawasi Reeves, and a timeout is called because Round's landscape is within 4, and we see the thunder dunk from the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket at the 72nd annual PIT. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Big thanks to the great folks at On the Spot, Norfolk 27, and Prep Spin, from Hannah Box to William Moorfield. Our camera operators all over the place, from on the court to up top with us here with Joe Allen next to us, Matthew Hatfield alongside Coach Ed Young at Sales Systems on top of Rounds Landscape Service. 39-35. Heyman Lipsy with the head fake. The Iowa State Cyclone guard, beg your pardon, Michi Johnson rather, with the head fake. The South Carolina Gamecock guard able to draw a foul and get a couple of free throws. You were just saying to me during break, Coach Young, that you got 3 to see here. 3 guys that have impressed you the most so far in the first half. Tell the audience who they would be.
I like Rafael Castro, the big 6'11" fellow from George Washington. He's active, long arms, long legs, knows what to do on defense. He's a problem on defense. Toby Lawal makes the free throw there. Toby Lawal from Virginia Tech, still impressing. I know you're saying that maybe the question on him is outside shooting, but he can make up for that with a lot of other stuff. Plus, he plays defense. And my third guy, who was my third guy? I don't have any. Oh, Kawasi Reeves, the youngster with the hops from Georgia Tech. He is a thriller.
Foul shots are good to make it 41-35. The pass inside is going to get away from the intended target. Because that time it was McCray trying to find Nick Townsend along the baseline. So back to Sales Systems, we see a substitution with Lipsy now coming in for Michi Johnson. No, Lipsy didn't have a really loud game, but the thing I love about him is we brought up on Wednesday, first Iowa State player to earn College Sports Communicators Academic All-American of the Year for NCAA Division I men's hoops, a 3.6 cumulative GPA. So, you know, he's got the smarts to run a team somewhere, and he did it at Iowa State. TJ Otzelberger's group having another great year in the Big 12.
You know, you would have had a 3.6 if they would have went ×2.
I knew you were going there with that.
You know, I mean, I'm just stating the facts.
Leader all-time in Iowa State history in steals, 313 of those, and starts, 167. So Durable and proven. There's the jump shot. It's going to rattle home for Jalen Washington.
Basket by Vanderbilt.
That's the 6'10 forward from the Commodores of Vandy.
He's my fourth guy I'm watching hard. Another big one, but he can shoot it. Again, he plays the defense. You know, you look at the big guys because a lot of times professional league, you know, it's bigger, stronger players, and you look for the big fella, but sometimes those guys don't handle it. I think these are two that can.
And he's battling with the other number 40 out there, and Duke Brennan,
Foul is
who
charged.
began at Grand Canyon. I think that began at Arizona State and then played a couple seasons at Grand Canyon before concluding in the Big East at Villanova.
13 foul.
And Duke Brennan coming from a football family. You know, his dad was a tight end at Cal State Fullerton in the 1980s, and he's the second cousin of the late, great Colt Brennan, former NFL quarterback who was a
remember
Heisman
that name.
finalist from
Yes.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Cole Brennan could light up the scoreboard as a quarterback.
As well, the inbound from the side opposite the benches now with Reeves getting it into play.
You know, for people out there wondering about when they bring these kids in, they really only have one practice together for about 40 minutes, and that's pretty much all they had time for. And so a lot of it is by instinct on how they're playing.
How about Lawal snatching the rebound, then running the floor as he went rim
Right
to
down
rim
the middle.
and then just threw it down.
And hustled back on defense, and he found his man. He didn't celebrate it.
Toby Lawal growing on some people out of here with his abilities. Watching it in full effect. 10-point lead. 45-35 as he's now up to 9 points in this contest. Brennan, difficult angle to try to get that one to go, but 2 seconds on the shot clock remains. Here it is again on the replay.
I thought it was a hook shot pass.
Ooh, Lipsy
Lawal
finding
coming.
Lawal.
That's nice. That's a poster right there. We don't talk about poster dunks anymore like they did back in the 90s and early 2000s.
And we get a whistle going back the other
Posterized.
direction. Did you have one growing up on your wall? I know it had to be.
Yeah,
like,
I did, but
it was the George Mikan days when you grew up. So I hate to put
No,
age
I'm
on
a
the
little bit
audience.
after that, but I did have. It wasn't a player. It was a young female.
Oh, okay, we won't go there. We'll leave that alone. We've got a couple of free throws now for. And it wasn't a dunk poster. It was Jalen Washington out the foul line to shoot a couple of freebies here. 45-35.
I think everybody had that up on their wall. I think it was Cheryl Teagues.
Somebody. 46-35.
Now, and again, your poster was Bugs Bunny, so what's the difference?
What's up, Doc?
I do have Yosemite Sam smashing a backboard on a dunk, if you all remember. Not Yosemite Sam, Tasmanian Devil.
Tasmanian Devil.
Tasmanian Devil, I have that.
Here's the inbound to McCray. Sales Systems up by 12 now. Getting into the lane, McCray had it look like I don't know if he lost it going up or got knocked away from behind by Lipsy.
The ball got knocked, but I thought he got banged too, but they said no. He just lost it. Wow. There's contact made. But then
Sales?
again, at pro level, you're going to have contact.
Sales Systems trying to avoid what happened last night where they coughed up an 11-point lead in their 78-75 loss to Portsmouth Sports Club. Here's Lawal, the fall-away shot off the back iron, rebounded by Brennan. Throws it up ahead. Now it's Rounds Landscape trying to inch closer before the half, and there's going to be a foul away from the ball there. 34 seconds on our game clock.
Foul is charged to Sales Systems, number 23, Kate Tyson.
Yeah, it was off the ball. They kind of got arms tangled and looked like he grabbed him so he wouldn't get by. And the sharp eye referee, as they should be, caught that.
He put that personal on Cade Tyson, his first. And hitting the first free throw there for Rounds Landscape is none other than Nick Townsend. 28 double-figure games for him at Yale, 5 times over 20-plus points.
Ivy League Player of the Year.
And really lived up to the expectations. He was the preseason pick for that, too, as we get a foul before the 3, and it's going the other direction. They called a move and screen, didn't they?
Yep, illegal screen on Mr. Washington.
Foul is charged to Sales Systems, number 40, Jalen Washington.
So Jalen Washington picking up that one. It's his second personal.
You go to set a screen, you have to be set. You cannot be moving or leaning into or throwing elbows. He was moving. A lot of times the player that you set a screen for leaves too early.
So we'll keep it right here as we watch the replay here. That foul, you see right there, he was sort of not set as he was moving into him. As we watch that three-point trigger again for Sales Systems. And Corey Camper Jr., who's so far in this first half, has 7 points, all of which came in that opening quarter. But it's been Henley leading the way with 14 and Lawal right behind him with 9 to complement.
Yeah, they got that shooting up now. Cell System 17 for 31, 55%. And Rounds Landscaping is still hoovering down there. We're at 38%, 14 for 37. There's your big difference.
As you see the scouts and the folks there, we're actually waving to our folks up there. You want to wave to the camera operator, Coach Young, as they can see us out there on Prep Spin and on the spot.
Lot of
27.
A lot of scouts from all over. We got
College coaches, too. There's also some college coaches that
Yep,
have been supporting some of their former players.
It's kind of neat to see the college coach come in to see their kids play, talk to some of the NBA people and see kind of what they're thinking about, that they're draftable or is maybe more of a free agent signing.
Now, you used to coach in this event, correct? What was your first experience at the PIT? Tell the audience.
My big thing was I was worried about, okay, we got to put in this offense, this defense, sideline, inbound. And I remember somebody saying, hey, Coach, you have them for 30 minutes, and normally you talk for 22, so how are you going to put all that stuff in there? Really, you just go with real basic stuff, the pick and roll, to give and go, and you lean on these guys for what works and the chemistry. And I can honestly say, over the years I coached, I never had an issue with a player or team whatsoever. They were very accommodating. Yes, sir. No, sir. It was a heck of a beautiful experience to do that with these guys.
Trying to beat the horn along the baseline. Might have got bumped by Brennan, but the kick out. Here's Lawal for three from the corner, and it's there. Toby Lawal tickles the twine, and he knocks down a tray ball.
You know what?
Take us to the half.
That brought a bigger smile out of him than the dunks. Is that jump shot?
Let's watch the replay. Lawal with the swish
boom.
from three, and it's Sales Systems up by 13 as we've reached halftime. You're watching the action on Prep Spin and on the spot. Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Second half about to start here in our consolation matchup featuring Sales Systems donning the white jerseys and Rounds Landscape Service in the green uniforms. With the Coach Ed Young, I'm Matthew Hatfield. We thank you all for tuning in to our continuing coverage of the 72nd Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School with 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around America, as the shot's going to be scored inside the first hoop of our second half by Malik Renew for the Rounds Landscaping crew with 6 points now, but the first half, Coach Henley with 14, Lawal with 12 to lead the way for Sales Systems. That, of course, being Jaden Henley of Grand Canyon and Toby Lawal from Virginia Tech, as those were two players that popped throughout the first half. And speaking of the devil, there's Lawal catching it, kicking it out. Three-pointer in front of the bench is going to be off the mark on that try there for Henley, and the rebound is collected by Atwell. But a big difference in that first half really was not so much the outside shooting, but the thing that jumps out at me, a perfect 11-11 from the foul line for Sales Systems, just 5 of 7 for Rounds Landscape.
Well, Sales System turned a real close first quarter game, which they were up 2019, into a runaway with it in the second quarter, 30-18. Sales System, they did it with the shooting. 18 for 32 overall, 56%. And Rounds Landscaping is still down there, 14 for 38. They're still below 40% at 37. That's the big difference.
Deep three-pointer will not go down for Atwell. Going to need him to knock down a few more, but also get these bigs involved like Malik Renew, who they've made a conscious effort here to begin the second half. He gets a couple of touches down low. Kawasi Reeves and Donovan Atwell leading the way with 9 points apiece, but if they can get Renew going, they can cut into this deficit, trailing by 9. As we've seen, basketball is a game of runs, whether it's high school, college, or pro, whatever level you're talking about. The last 2 nights in the NBA play-in, the fact that the Portland Trailblazers and the Golden State Warriors, each one on the road, are racing deficits of 11 and 13 points, shows that you can quickly overcome things with the three-point shot being such a big deal in today's sport of basketball.
Well, you got Jaden Henley at the foul line right now. 14 points in the first half, 5 of 9 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds. You know, if we're talking about player of the game early, maybe first half he could be it. Led him he's second in rebound behind big fellow Castro, who had 5.
UNLV transfer averaged 12.8 points per game in 25 starts there. Closed out averaging 12.5 points per game to 17.7 points per game from his last 2 seasons, finishing up at, of course, Grand Canyon. He also started out his career as a player for Minnesota and played a year at DePaul, so did not go up the level, stayed there in the outside power 4 realm, as that one's going to get away, but it gets away because of a foul, as Toby Lawal trying to get him to be a focal point too because of his ability to really pop out here. He's been one of the players that has the bounce, and I think that the thing folks are wondering about him, we talked about the shooting element, but we know how athletic he is. It's going to also be about just the discipline level for him too, because are you willing to accept the role wherever you go beyond this year? You're moving past the college game, playing professionally for money, and now it becomes a job essentially, and can he accept that type of role and use those skills that he has that are certainly noticeable out here?
No question about knowing your role and playing it.
Oh, beating the horn, a triple that's good for Jaden Henley on time.
That was nice. Yeah, you got if you can't play your role, you're not gonna play in anybody's league, anybody's team, because again, guys are established. These are rookies coming in trying to fit in.
Henley showing what he can do here at the PIT. Ball's loose again up ahead, Reeves. Working against Lawal inside, Malik Renew with the tip in. Oh, they're going to say basket interference. We're still hanging on the rim there for Renew.
Yeah, it's got to come completely off the rim. Now, if we were playing FIBA basketball rules, that's legal, but we're not. And the ball was on the rim, and he touched it, and you can see it right there.
I just wonder if Coach Young's ever played the FIBA video game.
No. I thought you were going to ask me if I ever touched my ball up on the rim. I touched the rim before I put it up on the backboard.
Okay, there you go. And that one's going to be scored at the other end as Jalen Washington's converting. 3-point shot off the mark, rebounded by Lawal, and here comes Sales Systems cruising right now at this point, up 16. Johnson kick out to Camper, and his tray ball is on target.
I tell you,
Camper.
Matt, Sales System last night couldn't buy baskets. Now they're shooting with ease and confidence on these outside jumpers.
Reeves comes back in transition for the finish. You know, Renault is an interesting player to me, Coach, because, you know, they're going to say his body has to get better. Who does he guard? But the thing is, his production was there, and he doesn't command or demand the ball to be effective or contribute to winning. The activity on the glass, the basketball IQ. I think there's some sneaky good passes out of him. And he had in big moments, such as the game against Louisville in the ACC, 24 points. The NCAA tournament win over Missouri, 24 points. And I think it's going to command here in the second half. Malik Renault, your team's down 17. You might not come all the way back to win it, but you can impress the scouts here by having a strong finish to this game to complement Lawal here and be a threat down the stretch as we see the inbound now for Sales Systems and a fall-away shot that's there for Corey Camper, complimenting Henley as those two guys have been on point for much of this one.
Yeah, like I said, they're putting it up, and you made a good point. Here comes Renault with the ball now. He's going to get called. Oh, no, I thought being charged. Nope, it's a block. You know, the other thing, too, Matt, these kids, a lot of these guys, seasons were over quick, you know, early March. And they weren't in March Madness. So now what did you do basketball-wise and continually keep your conditioning going, knowing you're going to get an invite and hopefully get workouts with teams, because that's another thing the pros do not like is to see a kid come into this out of shape. That tells them he didn't take his profession very serious. And you just mentioned it's a job at the next level, and it really is. It's what you're getting paid to play in a different way.
So Renault at the line, the free throw there on the continuation doesn't go. Rebounded by Sales Systems, up by 17 as we near 6 minutes to go in the third, and the shot won't go down on that one. Rebounded by Townsend, who had 3 offensive boards in the first half for Rounds Landscape. And there's the flush with the right hand by Kawasi Reeves. That slashing ability that he's shown, able to attack in transition and get it to go.
Yeah, he does it. He attacks the rim hard. And like I said, he has that quick leap ability. And like right there, it was like a foot away, and he's up in the air quick.
Stolen away in the hands of Robert McCray. Passes over to Atwell. Thought about the three. Trying to make a charge here. That one got deflected, and the defense, once again, of your guy Castro, you've been talking about here, just his length.
I like him.
Really affecting things out here. We've talked about him yanking down the offensive boards. Shot 62.7% from the field.
I wonder if I can convince him to. Does he have another year of high school eligibility?
No, he can't go back to Smithfield High School.
If he can have another year of high school eligibility.
You could ask me as a brother, though. That might.
I could do that.
You're in.
I could do that because we need a 6'10". I never coached.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't need a 6'10"? I've never heard somebody say we don't need a 6'10", as Duke Brennan's able to convert that one to make it a 13-point game.
Well, right now, I need a 6-footer. Right now, the squad I'm going to put on the floor next year averages 5'9". We are small.
Have to go shopping for some size, which, you know, in today's professional game at the NBA level, a lot of these bigs, they don't always play close to the basket all the time. There's more stretch bigs, guys that have to be able to shoot the three, or as importantly, guard the three.
Well, that's a big thing. Everybody wants to shoot the three, but can you guard a wing player who's quick, who got a first step, quick dribble? That's really where people are looking at it. You know, kids say, I can shoot the three. Well, anybody can shoot it, but can you defend it?
The inbound, getting it back to Cade Tyson, and he got hit. Cade Tyson, 1,621 points in his college career, and he made 213 threes to go with 524 rebounds in his 124 college games. He was the Missouri Valley Rookie of the Year in 2022-23, and then he moved on from playing in the Missouri Valley at Belmont to playing at North Carolina, and then led the Gophers of Minnesota this past year in scoring, free throws, minutes per game, and field goals, including a 30-point effort in the opener. It was a Minnesota record, most points ever in a Minnesota player's debut, and not a bad way to start things off, trying to have a nice finish to this PIT here this April.
And he can shoot it. You can tell he can shoot it. He kind of proverbial type portal player where he left the small school Belmont to see what he could do to big school Carolina. Didn't play much, went to somewhere else where he could play.
When he comes from a basketball family, we touched on it last night. Older brother Hunter was an all-ACC performer at Clemson and then spent a couple seasons with the NBA's Denver Nuggets. 13-point game now as Lawal will try to three. That one was short. And that happened a couple times on Tyson's shots last night. He had one that could have, I believe, tied the game up, and it was just short from the side. As we'll take a timeout, too, with 4:47 to go. 13-point lead for Sales Systems at the PIT. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
That's right, our game's brought to you by the Auto Connection. We thank all you out there watching on the Spot Norfolk 27 and through PrepSpin, which you can find online at go.prepspin.com. Sales Systems on top of Brown's Landscaping, 64-51, as trying to attack through the middle of the floor. It was Robert McCray, the fifth, getting hit. Damon Lipsy with that personal.
Rafael Castro.
I beg your pardon, that was Rafael Castro with that foul, not Lipsy, who got called with that personal. So the inbound coming from the sideline with Camden. There's Boswell up top. Thought about a three there was Nick Townsend. Townsend trying to drive inside on Castro, and there's the finish for two.
Yeah, they set it up for the one-on-one drive, and he beat the big fella. Took the ball up and under to the weak side, which got the step on the big guy.
Townsend's got 9 points. There's Taman Lipsy from the corner with the left-handed dribble. Collapsing the defense. Now there's nowhere to go at the foul line. Over to Corey Camper. Camper tries a deep one from the wing. Rebounded on that miss by Townsend. Chappaqua, New York. Here's McCray. Gets it down low inside to Brennan. Double team comes. One dribble, pull up three for McCray. Off the mark and rebounded by Castro. And the layup is good on the other end for Sales Systems. Rafael Castro and Jalen Washington both have been workers along the front line in this game, as those two guys have combined for, I believe it's now 14 points and 9 rebounds, as we see Duke Brennan from Villanova answering at the other end. He's got 7 boards, one off Townsend's team lead of 8. It's an 11-point game.
And you notice Sales System too now, Matt, with put the two big fellas in there together, which is two 6'10", 6'11" kids. Put a little bit tougher on Rounds Landscaping to cover.
This time underneath. The kick out and three-point shot is going to be off the mark. Rebounded inside by Boswell.
24-second clock for those that heard that horn. We do have an NBA clock, 24-second clock, shooting clock.
Using the left hand to try to get some motion from his teammates. Rounds Landscape know this is the point to make the rally. And underneath, able to get the finish. How about Duke Brennan with the footwork to make that happen?
Yeah, that ball didn't really want to go in, and it said, "Out the heck, let me fall in."
9-point game. So it was as big as 19 for Sales Systems, and you look now, and it's suddenly within striking distance as there's a head fake in the finish inside from Rafael Castro. 13 double-doubles 2 seasons ago. Worked on his frame and three-point shooting range in the offseason. Now we're seeing Rafael Castro become a more complete player. In this game today, he's been a factor for sure. There's a turnover on the break chance. Here's Tyson. Got rid of it, and inside they don't get the finish from Camper, but the offensive rebound is pulled in by Washington. He doesn't get the finish. We're going to get the smaller Boswell. They're going to finally get the foul on Townsend, so 2 free throws coming for Sales Systems, just at this point trying to impose their will on the backboards.
You mentioned earlier about Kay Tyson's brother, Hunter, played. He was very good when he played here in the PIT. If I'm not mistaken, I could be 100% wrong, he was the MVP or close to it, because he played great, I remember, Hunter. And then he, like you said, he was been in the NBA. Thought he looked a little bit like that. I was thinking in my head if they were related. You answered that question.
Toby Lawal ready to come in here after the substitution with Washington heading to the bench.
Yeah, we got some blood that needs to be cleaned up. That's what the delay is.
They're going to tend to that right now. Looks like it's on his head on Duke Brennan. Yeah, it looks like Duke Brennan's the one who's got
looks like a scratch along the elbow. They got to clean that blood up. Cannot play with blood on any part of the body.
Chance to remind you that coming up we have Game 4 at 6 o'clock Eastern with Norfolk Sports Club against Portsmouth Partnership, and Game 5 Portsmouth Economic Development versus Mike Duman Incorporated. That Mike Duman Incorporated featuring Robbie Avila, known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you will. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem, yep.
Yeah, he's also got other neat nicknames that I know you'll be looking forward to as Robbie goes by Milk Chamberlain, College Jokic, all kinds of nicknames out there for him.
Yeah, he is going to be a crowd favorite. The big fella with the glasses. He plays hard. Started career at Indiana State, been at St. Louis.
We're going to take a timeout with 141 to get that blood taken care of. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
All right, we think we have all the blood taken care of now finally at this 72nd annual PIT. It's Sales Systems 68, Rounds Landscaping Service 57.
Each time Matt Rounds Landscaping tries to put on a comeback, Sales System finds a couple open shots to hit.
6 players have reached in double-figure points, led by Jaden Henley's 19 from Grand Canyon for Sales Systems. And at the line is number 40, Jalen Washington out of Vanderbilt with 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in this game. And he hits the first of 2 free throws. Also in double figures for Sales Systems, Toby Lawal from Virginia Tech and Nevada's Corey Camper with 12 points apiece, while Rounds Landscaping led by Kwasi Reeves is 13 points. He from Georgia Tech, and Malik Renews 10 points from the Miami Hurricanes. A lot of ACC flavor in this event, as is par for the course, and it's a 13-point game now, 70-57 after those free throws. Oswell dribbles it up the floor past the timeline. It's the screen from Townsend. Townsend swings it to the right. There's Camden for 3, doesn't get it to fall. Rebound comes out to Washington. And hitting the deck there, no travel call. Brennan was calling for it, but the officials just let it play out, and then they tie him up as Jalen Washington sat on the ground for about a good 2.5, 3 seconds.
Yeah, he looked like the Energy Bunny whose battery ran out. He just sat there. Everybody just looked at him.
So they call a timeout, and I think we're going to take 1-2 here. 13-point game at the 72nd annual PIT at Churchland High School. You're watching On the Spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Game number 3 of 12 here at the 72nd annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. One of the premier showcases after the college basketball players are wrapping up their careers before they get ready for the next step in their journey to try to make it to the professional ranks. 107 to go in the third. The attack move with the right hand. The missed shot on the runner for Michi Johnson. Coming back the other way, it's
1 minute remaining in the quarter.
Rounds Landscape. Three-pointer off the mark. Rebounded by Toby Lawal. And Sales Systems, which led by 19. The deficit got trimmed down to single figures for a brief moment, but there's the lob and the finish from Rafael Castro.
Great timing on the lob. We're looking for that. That's a staple here at the PIT is those lob plays. That was a nice one.
He was tops at GW in points, rebounds per game, blocks, and steals, and we see just his total impact in this one today. 15-point lead. Here's Taman Lipsy getting to his spot. The pull-up jumper, a little short, rebounded by Duke Brennan. 4 assists today for Lipsy. And now Boswell can try to put Rounds Landscape in position to maybe get one more charge before the fourth quarter. Getting a bucket here to give them some momentum would be huge. Out to the three-point line, cross-court pass. Here's the left hand and the spin back. And Lawal sends it the other direction as the shot clock expires. So we saw Lawal in the second quarter with a three-pointer from the corner. And as the third period's nearing a conclusion, he's able to impact the game with his defensive ability. So we watch him inside. Look at the block with the right hand.
Yep. Right, again, impact the game either way.
Two-way players matter. And that horn means we are headed for the fourth quarter. Sales Systems up by 15. You're watching the 72nd annual PIT through Prep Spin and On the Spot Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Fourth quarter underway here at Churchland High School in Portsmouth for our consolation matchup with Rounds Landscape Service and Sales Systems. 72-57. There is Cade Tyson attacking the basket, missing the shot. Kawasi Reeves with the rebound. Down low, Malik Renault. The left hand off the backboard is good for two, and it's a 13-point game. Malik Renault making his impact felt.
Well, if Round's going to get back into this game, they're going to have to do it early in this last quarter.
And a whistle there as they call the foul on Robert McCray, the fifth. It's his fourth.
Sales Systems still shooting above, well, they're right at 50%, 25 for 50 in this game, and that's what's really held them off. Rounds Landscaping as they are at now 42%.
Underneath, a dunk for Castro yet again as Sales Systems keeping Rounds Landscaping from drawing any closer, and a foul's called along the sideline with 9:06 to go in this one. 19 points for Henley.
Sales System has had the better or more of high percentage shots, be it a dunk or a lay-in off a steal or whatever. So, and it looks like Rounds Landscaping is, well, they look like they were trying to set up a three-pointer there. It didn't happen.
Here's a three for Tyson. That's going to be buried as Cade Tyson connects from way downtown. 18-point lead as the Minnesota Gopher, who made 213 of those in his college career, is able to connect on the baseline. Townsend get rid of it. Here's the jumper from Atwell, and it rattles home.
You know, there's a guy they got to get going. He hit some shots early, and then they went away from him in the first half.
Just 3 of 10 from the field before that make. As it gets poked out of bounds, it's going to stay at this end of the floor.
And we had said he's a streaky shooter. You know, when he's on, he's 5 for 5, 6 for 6. But when things aren't really going his shooting way, he's an 0 for all the way.
We mentioned earlier about the Mike Duman Incorporated Portsmouth Economic Development game coming up tonight. You have the Norfolk Sports Club against Portsmouth Partnership as it's a turnover back the other way. Matchup at 6 o'clock. You have a couple of Michigan State Spartans going opposite each other. Jackson Kohler for Norfolk Sports Club and Carson Cooper for Portsmouth Partnership. I wonder who Tom Izzo's rooting for. He's got to root for each player, right? Can't root for one team.
And both young fellows being 6'10", they'll probably cover each other a little bit tonight. It'll be interesting to see how they go at it. I'm sure they've done it in practice millions of times.
Could a little bit. We could see some 4-5s there as the matchups go. And also another big-time performer from the Big Ten, Trey Kaufman-Wren, known as TKR, for Purdue on that Norfolk Sports Club team, which features, in addition to those two, Felix Akpar from Tennessee, Namari Burnett of national champion Michigan, and, of course, Seth Trimble from North Carolina. That might be the most stacked roster in terms of name recognition in this event, that Norfolk Sports Club team.
Hey, a key guy to watch for Portsmouth Partnership is another Vanderbilt kid, Duke Miles, very instrumental.
Peter Suter from Miami of Ohio helped them reach the NCAA tournament this year. What a story they were. Coming out of nowhere from the MAC.
Undefeated right up until the tournament.
And we got another whistle. 14-point lead with 7:55 to go.
And I've just been informed by somebody Duke Miles is not playing tonight.
Yeah, he was initially on the roster. It was a late switch. I can tell you, as I will try to get that for you here in a moment, I do have that roster replacement. So, as we see.
I was excited to see him play. He had a great season.
He did. Vanderbilt had a big year, but they do have some other representation in this event, as that was a putback. Devin McLaughlin, you can watch him from Portsmouth Economic Development tonight. The replacement for him at the last second, again, for folks that are unaware, there was a little bit of a late roster switch on that front. One of the players from Howard University, Bryce Harris, 6'4" guard from Brentwood, New York, is going to be on that Portsmouth Partnership squad, and he helped them win the MEAC and had some big games. They lost to Michigan in the NCAA tournament, but he had 21 points.
I saw him.
Shot's no good
I saw
on the wall.
When Howard played at Norfolk State, he said he was the lead scorer in the game. Played extremely well.
So there are
physical specimen.
A lot of MEAC fans across the area. As there's a dunk that's delivered by Malik Renault with the jam, and it's now a 10-point game. It's getting the coaches, Coach Furman and Coach Markey and J.R. Reed, excited. We're going to step aside here as more PIT action you're watching on the Spot Norfolk 27. Stay tuned.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the Spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Suddenly a 10-point game with 7:10 to play. Sales System still in the lead, though. It was a 19-point advantage for them. As it'll be inbounded here with Corey Camper Jr. So far in this one, Henley's got 19 points to lead Sales Systems, while Malik Renault's got 14 for Rounds Landscaping. Left-handed dribble now for Camper. They get down low in the post to Toby Lawal. He's doubled up. Toby Lawal trying to muscle his way through, and he draws the foul. How about that? The defense sends two his way, Coach Young, but we see he's able to stay patient there and draw the foul.
Big opportunity to get that one. And again, showing what you're capable of doing and then finishing it.
And we've got free throws coming now for Lawal. Khalid El-Amin giving his guys some instruction from the side. Of course, we referenced it earlier, Khalid El-Amin's career with the Connecticut Huskies, and not just that, but Khalid El-Amin also playing in the NBA as well.
Very vocal player when he played, much a leader, and then I've watched this game here tonight, and he doesn't sit down as a coach. And a lot of guys in the tournament don't do a whole lot of stand-up coaching. He has not sat down. Very vocal. It still is in his coaching years. In
addition to being an All-Big East performer and an NCAA champion, he was the Ukrainian Cup MVP in 2009, the Turkish Cup final MVP in 2008. He played with the Chicago Bulls for a little while as well. So 11-point game, 78-67 after that last trip, but a foul underneath as really got hit in the face there. Hoping no blood there for Henley, who came away from that exchange, feeling the brunt of it.
Good pass from Malik Renault, too. Really nice pass.
So a couple of free throws now coming.
At the line for Rounds Landscape Service.
As we will see Kawasi Reeves trying to convert two. He misses the first. Reeves at Georgia Tech made 183 free throws, 76.5% there, and he makes the second.
Back down to that 10-point game. Got it. Worked it. Still a lot of time to get it under.
And they lose the handle there. The wall could not control it.
He thought he got grabbed on the arm, but he kicked it out of bounds.
So with 6.5 minutes, a chance for Rounds to get it down to single digits again. McRae gets it into the front court. A little slippery drive move. The bounce underneath, and the layup is converted by Donovan Atwell, starting to score away from the three-point line, which I know the scouts want to see from him because he is such a dangerous outside weapon. To the right, between the legs move, losing the handle, and it's going to be a foul.
Now Rounds has turned not only up their offense this quarter, Matt, in which they are outscoring Sales System 10-5 in this quarter. They only got outscored by 2 in the last quarter, so.
Well, you're looking at the stat feed that's 3 plays behind. I hate to correct you, but it's now 11-8.
Okay, 11-8, okay.
But that's why we keep me around to have the calculator over here to help you with that.
I got to start using that calculator.
And there's a whistle.
That's why I like math class. I usually got to use the calculator. Best 4 years of my life in that class.
We'll see if Sales Systems can get the offensive engine revved back up, because it feels like they've hit a little bit of a lull at this point. And who's going to be that player? You know, the legs are tired. You mentioned it earlier, this quick turnaround having played last night. It's not even a 24-hour. We heard all the time about back-to-backs in the NBA and the short rest, but how do you respond when the leg's starting to feel a little rubbery and things get bothersome? It's just a giveaway again. Doubled up was Washington. Didn't get rid of it quick enough, and now Boswell trying to get his team even closer. He passes it to Camden. Camden down low to Malik Renault. Renault face-up game. Going to take that matchup all day long against Henley, and that time it's a mismatch in his eyes. He's got the 6'9" ability over Henley, probably pushing, 6'6.5", 6'7", and it's a deuce to make it a 6-point game. Back the other way.
Yeah,
Goes to the hands of Washington, who hits the deck, and now the ball's loose and picked up by Boswell.
Cell system needs a reset because it definitely momentum over the round.
And they're going to the basket, count it plus the foul. I see Khalid Al-Amin went over to Rafael Castro to come in off the bench. He wants him to help try to finish the deal to this one because this unit is not getting it done for them. As we watch the replay again, Boswell in transition. We spoke about it. Renew's going to get the highlights of this layup, but Boswell last night, 8 assists, 1 turnover, and we're starting to see him rear that effect again here with, 7 dimes in this game?
Yep, if they got one right there, he was absolutely. And see, I had said earlier, Cell system was, on its replay, beautiful.
One shot. Miami's.
Of course, he is a lefty, so that's why he was able to use it.
That's action full court for you as they get the foul on Henley. And this can make this a 1-point game if Renault's able to hit the free throw.
Cell system played the two big fellas together for a while, which really helped inside defense.
And the foul shot is good. Henley's been stuck on, is it 19 for a while here? We haven't seen Henley, I don't know, score in this.
Yeah, he did not score.
He's got 5 in the second half here. A lot of his damage done in the first half. Ball almost lost by Michi Johnson, who's going to draw the foul. And the neat thing about Henley, by the way, only 3 other players in the nation met his averages for points, rebounds, assists, and steals this season when you combine all those categories. And they were Dalen Swain of Texas, Keon Williams of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Prophet Johnson of Sacramento State. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the All-American who's list, but some really good players to be on that list. That's impressive to show his total impact. And now Michi Johnson trying to give Sales Systems a chance to catch their breath and breathe a sigh of relief if he can knock these free throws down and he hits the first. One more coming. 16-1 run coach for Rounds Landscaping before that free throw.
So what they had to do to get back in this ball game because they were down by as much as 20 at one point. And now we're looking at what? Free throw here, we're looking at a 1-possession game.
80-75. Boswell gets the inbound. They just had it literally a moment ago where if a turnover happened, they could have tied the game up with a 3. But now Rounds Landscaping staying after it. Inside, Duke Brennan doesn't get the follow or finish, but he'll get a follow. And it's going to go the other way with a travel as Brennan shuffled the feet on that second attempt. Do wonder now at this point who will be the source of offense for Sales Systems in the closing minutes. As Taman Lipsy comes back to the bench, takes a seat. There's Michi Johnson behind the back maneuver, trying to shake free Kawasi Reeves. Double team comes with Boswell. Here's a deep 3 and maybe a little bit out of the range of Michi, and the rebound is pulled in by Townsend. Here's Boswell, really direct in this show. He showed a lot of ability last night, making his teammates better. We'll see if he does it again here. Here's a 3-pointer for Reeves. Count it plus the foul. A 4-point opportunity for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. Here it is for 3 and a chance for 4.
I cringe as a coach when I see the 3-point shooter get fouled and he makes it. It's a 4-point play. I have a rule. You foul 3-point shooter, you're automatically coming out. And it looks like Alameda is doing the same thing.
It's funny, we brought this up last night during the broadcast with Shaman Williams, and he'll be with us on our 6 o'clock game along with Jordan Maka, and we'll have you along with Charles Blackwell Eisler for our nightcap tonight. Is about 3-point. He's a big believer, in, like we talked about during the broadcast, when you're up 3 to foul down the stretch, as am I. But he almost tells players nowadays when you see a 3-point shot like that, don't get near him to foul him because the continuation's happening all the time. It just happened the other night in the NBA playing game with the Hornets and the Heat. That runner was no good with Tyler Hero, by the way, who was able to go to the line and put his team up until the Hornets had that magical finish with Mr. Ball. As it's a 1-point game, 80-79, and Rounds looks for the lead. They can't get it here, and the rebound is yanked in by Lawal. But Sales Systems just trying to hang on for dear life. They coughed up an 11-point lead yesterday. Screen set by Castro. Spin move by Michi Johnson, and he gets the roll. How about Michi with the spin cycle and the roll?
Yes, sir. The butter was leaning to the left, and it went right in on that roll. That was, again, every time in the first half, Sales System answered Rounds comebacks, and they're trying to do it now.
82-79. Got ourselves a photo finish. The kick out. Reeves doesn't shoot it this time. He passes to Boswell for the tie. No good. That was wide of the mark. Boswell has not been on money from three. He's definitely getting his teammates involved and making them better and giving them a chance, but his three-point game not been on point yet. Here's a three from the corner, and it's buried by that guy who's known more for his bounce than his shot, Toby Lawal, and that's a silencer to put them up 6.
He hit that corner three earlier in the first half.
Deep three. Oh, my. That was from almost the parking lot from Kawhi Reeves.
Okay, now maybe we're going to exchange some fast trigger threes here in our final 2:30 to go.
Reeves heating up here down the stretch. He's up to 21 points. Matching Renault for team lead. Little head fake move, and the finish is not there, but the putback is for Corey Camper Jr. Camper has 14. He bunched, I believe, 7 of those in the first quarter. 5-point lead for Sales Systems. Boswell draws 2. They swing it counterclockwise. Reeves trying to get some room against Lawal. Kick out, corner 3 for John Camden, and it's money. John Camden, the Cal Bear forward. We talked about his three-point shooting getting better and better. He was a 44.5% shooter from the field, and it's a 2-point game again.
Wide open, confident to take that three. Yes, sir. 2-point game is right.
Rotations have not been there for either side on some of these three-point shooters. A couple have been from way downtown, though. Behind the back pass. Johnson finding his teammate, and that teammate delivered by Toby Lawal.
Yep. Two big back-to-back threes by Lawal. We said earlier that might be the big question on him. Can he hit the outside shot consistent?
Brennan inside with the dunk. And that makes this a 3-point game.
3 here will tie it up. And going to talk about it.
And we've got a timeout for Sales Systems with 1:18. Here's the highlight of that again as we watch Boswell get it into Brennan, and he takes it to the basket with the flush.
Authoritative.
More coming from the PIT. You're watching on the spot, Norfolk 27.
The Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on the spot, Norfolk 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
We've got 1:18 remaining in this consolation matchup. Sales Systems clinging to a 90-87 lead on Rounds Landscaping, which trailed by as many as 19 points with 7:03 to go in our third quarter. Inbound from the side. It's Cade Tyson. Gives it back over to Michi Johnson. Shot fake. Johnson tries a deep through the 4 on the shot clock. It's no good. Rebounded by Duke Brennan and Rounds Landscape, which can tie the basketball game with a triple. We look for the quick 2. Boswell gets the screen from Townsend. Hands off to Reeves. He's hit from there before. Can he do it again? There's a foul away from it. It's not on the shot here, but it's underneath in the low block area where it looked like Townsend hit the deck, Coach.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a foul on number 10. Yep.
Indeed, Lipsy just got tied up. It's his second personal. So because of that, free throws, as we got one of our young Floor wipers. Love the kids wiping up the spots on the floor. They enjoy the action too.
Yeah, they're excited to get that job and be out here and be effective. Probably it could be some young future PITers playing here.
I thought you were about to
someday.
say Smithfield Packers out here as well. If
Well,
you're
I
trying
got
to
to see
recruit
them
them
play
later.
first. I got to see them play, and then I got to see if they're in the portal.
Then
That would be
yeah,
a fifth grade portal
there
there.
you go. Getting some
Everybody's
TV time
in the
too.
portal.
At the line, Townsend.
Oh.
First free throw is short. One more coming.
That free throw was not very pretty.
Well, but if you hit the second, though, you're still very much
Yes,
alive in this
yes.
game because it's a 2-point game, 47.3 on the clock, 24-second shot clock, and you could always foul and extend this thing out. So no need to panic here by any means.
No, they're okay. They just hit the free throw right here. You got to hit the free throw right here. There you
Within
go.
two now as he splits the two. Townsend up
plays-
to 12.
Yep.
He's got a double-double today, with 6 assists as well. Here it is up the court now.
Pressure up a little bit. Get a little live on his defensive possession.
Michi Johnson, little hesitation move, gets by the defender, leans in, off the glass for 2. Michi trying to be the closer here with a 4-point lead for Sales Systems. Boswell and company have to hurry. Camden thought about a 3. He'll try to drive now, and he gets off the glass for 2 with 27.4 seconds to go, 92-90. Full court pressure. The inbound. Johnson's doubled up. Can he get rid of it in time? Needs some help. Throws it up ahead, and it goes way over the head of Lawal, who chases it down. They're trying to play keep away. It goes over to Lipsy. He gets it to Johnson, and Johnson's going to finally be wrapped up by Reeves with 12 and a half ticks to play. So now it's up to
Services number 23.
his foul shooter after Reeves fouls Michi Johnson to see if this will remain a one-possession game or can Michi stretch it out to a 4-point lead and make it nearly impossible to come back. Again, they'd have to hurry and get a quick 3 or quick 2, but these free throws very critical at this point. So far in this one, as we look at Johnson, he's 6 for 6 from the line today. And they got that one to roll. Can't blame me for the announcer's jinx.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing because if he misses this, he'll blame it on me. That really only goes on a play-by-play guy. Analyst guy never gets blamed for missing.
Now listen, just like the field goals, you know how that goes. You guys perfect from PATs or field goals. And
Checking in for Rounds Landscape Service, number 32, Malik Renew.
back in is Malik Renew for Nick Townsend for Rounds Landscape. They want him to be involved on this next trip some way, somehow, whether it's a 3-point deficit or 4.
Renault's done really well inside with nice touch around the rim. That could be why they have him in. Plus, bigger kid to get this potential miss free throw.
Game high, 21 points for him. And now Johnson's a perfect 8 of 8 from the line with 12 points, and we get a timeout, and we'll keep it right here since this is the last possession, I believe, or we'll say last couple of possessions here with 12 and a half seconds to go. 94-90, Sales Systems on top of Rounds Landscape Service in our consolation matchup. We've got 2 more games this evening, 6 o'clock Eastern. If you're tuning in through our great friends at Prep Spin and also with the folks around the Hampton Roads Market on the spot Norfolk 27, where we have at 6 o'clock tonight, it'll be to see who gets to the semifinals between Norfolk Sports Club and Portsmouth Partnership, Portsmouth Economic Development against Mike Duman Incorporated. We do know one of our semifinals coming up on Friday. It's going to be game number 7 of this 12-game marathon. It'll be Portsmouth Sports Club taking on Jenny King, the 2 teams that won over these 2 teams last night to begin our PIT festivities, as we've got fans, coaches, high school, college, you name it, as well as general managers, scouts, all kinds of basketball lovers taking in the action for this 4-day week in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Really, it's the only tournament that I know of its kind. Back in the day, Matt, you had 3 or 4 of these type of tournaments around the country. Usually when they left here, they went to Orlando. Then they went out, later on it was out to Phoenix. If I'm not mistaken, it's the last standing tournament. The next thing the NBA guys will look at is the NBA Combine.
And Chicago, the pre-draft there,
Yeah.
that's always the big, when they circle before we see who goes where in the draft, and then from there what players go to what teams as far as G League, undrafted free agents, and then overseas opportunities. Those are limitless in a lot of ways.
And some of these kids will be invited to the Chicago pre-draft. And the Chicago pre-draft will have a lot of guys, some guys that could be lottery picks going there. Usually your top 4 or 5 guys are not doing anything. They've already did their interview, so to speak.
So here is Reeves to inbound it. They have to score quickly, whether it's a 2 or a 3. Boswell hands it off. Atwell can't get the three off because of the sticky defense of Johnson, but he'll try a step back and hits the front of the rim. Rebounded inside by Corey Camper, and they'll foul him with 2.6 on the clock, and that will do it. Sales Systems is going to walk out of here victorious to even their record after last night's three-point defeat at the hands of Portsmouth Sports Club, whereas Rounds Landscape will drop to 0-2 after falling to Jena King yesterday. So in this one, if you had to pick out a quick player of the game for Sales Systems, they've had 5 different players in double figures with Johnson, Camper, Henley, Lawal, and Washington. I feel like Lawal's been the most exciting, but Johnson's been clutched down the stretch, especially with his foul shooting.
Yeah, the foul shooting is going to get to you. I'm going to be a little prejudiced because it's a Virginia guy. I want to Virginia's Tech guy, Hokies, Lawal.
And that's not a bad choice. 7 of 12 with 19 points and 5 rebounds. Both free throws no good. The rebound is collected by Renault, and he just chucks it down the court as it goes sailing into the stands right by our pal Ernie Hankins. And that's going to do it. 94-90. Sales Systems victorious over Rounds Landscape Service. A couple of quick numbers. We mentioned Lawal and Henley with 19 points apiece. Corey Camper with 14, as well as Jalen Washington with 14, and Michi Johnson at 12. Kwesi Reeves and Malik Renew led the way in defeat with 21 points apiece for Rounds Landscaping. You see the handshake line, and that's going to conclude Game 3 of our 12-game extravaganza. I want to thank our entire team from Hannah Box and William Warfield to Joe Allen up top here with us on camera, and our entire group with those folks at Prep Spin. And we've been watching the action here from the PIT on the spot, Norfolk 27.